Welcome to a story of profound courage, unwavering hope, and the extraordinary power of a single voice. This is the journey of Martin Luther King Jr., a man who, though not a king by birth, became a monarch of the human heart, inspiring generations to fight for justice with love. His life teaches us about struggle, fear, love, and the incredible strength of peaceful words. We will explore every detail from his childhood to his legacy, understanding how one man's dream could change the world. Sit back, relax, and let this inspiring narrative unfold. Martin Luther King Jr. was born on a cold winter day, January 15th, 1929, in Atlanta, Georgia. His birth name was Michael King Jr. The family lived in a small, warm home on Auburn Avenue, a street known for its vibrant Black community. Though not wealthy, their home was rich with love, respect, and deep faith. His father, Michael King Sr., was a strong, serious, and deeply religious Baptist preacher. His mother, Alberta Williams King, was a kind, intelligent, and musical woman who taught young Martin to play piano and to speak gently. Both parents instilled in him the values of love over hate and wisdom over violence. When Martin was about 5 years old, his father traveled to Germany and was deeply inspired by the Protestant reformer, Martin Luther. Upon his return, Michael Sr. changed both his own name and his son's name from Michael to Martin Luther King. From that day, the little boy became known as Martin Luther King Jr. Martin was a curious child, always questioning the world around him. Why were some people poor? Why did some children go to better schools? Why couldn't he play with white children? He noticed the unfairness of the world at a very young age. A painful incident occurred when he was 6. His white friend's parents forbade them from playing together simply because Martin was colored. He went home crying, and his parents gently explained the harsh reality of racial inequality in America. This moment broke his heart, but also opened his eyes to the injustices. He would later dedicate his life to fighting. He grew up in a 2-story wooden house with his extended family, sharing meals, prayers, and laughter. Every evening, his father would ask, "What did you learn today?" Even as a child, Martin's words carried sincerity, his soft voice hinting at a special power. He loved to read, listen to his father preach, and would often stand on a chair, pretending to give speeches to his family. Though intelligent, he was not perfect and sometimes stubborn. Discipline, when needed, was always paired with love and lessons about the great man they believed he would become. This upbringing gave him a strong sense of right and wrong. The Ebenezer Baptist Church was central to Martin's life, a place of hope, song, and strength. Watching his father, he thought, "One day I will speak like that. I will touch hearts too." The rhythm of the church, the Bible's words, and the energy of the congregation deeply shaped his soul. Martin was academically gifted, starting school at 5 and skipping 2 grades, entering Morehouse College at just 15. Yet, even as a student, he felt the sting of racism's segregated libraries, the back of the bus, whites only, signs. These injustices sparked anger, but he chose to observe, think, and listen, telling himself, "One day, I will change this." He witnessed his father fearlessly confront white storekeepers who demanded they move to the back, an image that lit a fire of pride and courage in young Martin's heart. At Morehouse, a college for black men, Martin initially considered careers in medicine or law, finding religion too emotional. However, reading powerful thinkers like Mahatma Gandhi, whose philosophy of nonviolent resistance deeply resonated with him, changed his perspective. He began to see that words, peace, and moral strength were far more potent than violence. Slowly, the desire to serve humanity through his voice grew, and by the end of his time at Morehouse, he committed to becoming a minister, following his father and grandfather, but with his own unique vision. He continued his theological education at Crozer Theological Seminary in Pennsylvania, where he lived among white students for the first time. He was a brilliant student, excelling academically and winning awards, yet he often felt a quiet wall of difference. He deeply yearned to serve humanity, to heal a broken world. This period was also marked by loneliness, being far from home and surrounded by those who couldn't fully grasp the Black experience in America. Despite this, hope persisted. He meticulously practiced his speaking, refining a voice that was firm yet gentle, strong yet peaceful. His dream was not fame, but usefulness, to be a bridge between pain and peace. In Boston, while pursuing his PhD at Boston University, Martin met the woman who would transform his life, Coretta Scott. She was a beautiful, educated musician, intelligent, confident, and graceful. Martin was captivated by her mind and heart as she shared his passion for civil rights, peace, and justice. They married in 1953, and Coretta became not just his wife, but his unwavering partner in every struggle, every speech, every march, his equal, his strength, his silent warrior. After completing his PhD in 1955, becoming Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., he accepted a pastorate at Dexter Avenue Baptist Church in Montgomery, Alabama. He was only 26, but his voice, filled with rhythm, honesty, and passion, was growing in power. People sensed he was destined to lead them to new horizons. The defining moment arrived in December 1955 when Rosa Parks, a black woman, refused to give up her seat on a segregated bus and was arrested. This spark ignited a movement. Black leaders in Montgomery sought a calm, educated, and brave leader. They chose Martin. Though he had just arrived in the city, destiny called, and he answered. From that moment, Martin's journey as a civil rights leader truly began. But it came at a heavy price. Weeks into the Montgomery bus boycott, he received a late night death threat. Shaking with fear, he knelt in his kitchen, whispering a prayer. In that silence, he felt a divine presence, a voice in his heart saying, "Stand up for truth. Stand up for justice. I will be with you." From that night, he was no longer afraid. He knew he might die, but he was ready, fighting not just for himself, but for his people. Threats escalated. A bomb was thrown into his home, shattering windows, but Coretta and their baby miraculously survived. As an angry, armed crowd gathered, Martin stood on his broken porch and raised his hand, proclaiming, "One must meet hate with love. We must meet violence with nonviolence." And the people listened, putting down their weapons, reminded that peace was power. For 381 days, over a year, Black citizens of Montgomery refused to ride the buses, walking miles daily through all weather. Mothers with heavy groceries, grandmothers with sore knees, fathers after long shifts, they all walked, making a powerful statement. We will no longer accept being treated as less. Guided by Martin, their unwavering commitment led to a monumental victory. The Supreme Court ruled bus segregation illegal. Martin, however, warned them, this is not the end. This is just the beginning. Montgomery propelled Martin into national prominence, but with fame came intense danger. The FBI spied on him, tapping his phones and attempting to undermine his marriage. Yet he refused to be broken. He traveled America preaching love, justice, and nonviolence, meeting presidents, enduring jail cells, and leading marches. He constantly reminded everyone, hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. By the early 1960s, he was the undeniable face of the civil rights movement. He founded the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, SCLC, to train nonviolent activists. He led campaigns in cities like Birmingham and Selma, facing brutal police dogs, fire hoses, and batons. The images of children being attacked shocked the world, forcing a reluctant nation to confront its injustices. The world began to listen. Then came the defining moment, August 28, 1963, the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. Over 250,000 people, black and white, young and old, gathered. When Martin stepped to the microphone, his voice, initially calm, spoke of broken promises. Then, urged by singer Mahalia Jackson to tell them about the dream, he delivered his immortal "I Have a Dream" speech. He spoke of a future where children of all races would join hands, where every valley would be exalted, and where, finally, free at last, thank God Almighty, we are free at last. The crowd erupted in cheers, tears, and hugs. It was more than words, it was hope embodied. After the dream came the continued struggle. In 1964, Martin, the youngest man at the time, won the Nobel Peace Prize, using the money to further the movement. He broadened his fight beyond racism to include poverty and war, boldly speaking out against the Vietnam War in 1967, calling America the greatest purveyor of violence in the world today. This caused a political storm, alienating supporters. But King declared, a time comes when silence is betrayal. He then launched the Poor People's Campaign, recognizing poverty as another form of slavery affecting all races, and planned a massive march on Washington for economic justice. His family life was a blend of love and constant fear. Coretta often stayed awake, listening for danger. His children grew up with a hero for a father, but also a constant target. Yet, Martin remained calm, focused, and determined. In 1966, he moved into a dilapidated apartment in Chicago to highlight housing discrimination in the North. He marched through angry crowds, enduring thrown bricks and rocks, one of which struck his head. He staggered, but straightened up and continued saying, "Love is the only force capable of transforming an enemy into a friend." Some younger activists advocated for more aggressive methods, but King steadfastly maintained his belief in nonviolence. Returning hate for hate multiplies hate. Only love can drive out hate. In March 1968, an urgent call drew him to Memphis, Tennessee, to support black sanitation workers striking against unfair wages and dangerous conditions, sparked by the deaths of 2 workers. They carried signs reading, "I am a man demanding respect." King arrived, determined to lead a peaceful march. On the evening of April 3rd, 1968, amidst a raging storm, King delivered his final, prophetic speech at Mason Temple Church. "We've got some difficult days ahead," he thundered, "but it really doesn't matter with me now, because I've been to the mountaintop. I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we, as a people, will get to the promised land." The audience cried, cheered, and felt a profound chill. It was a prophecy. The next day, April 4th, 1968, at 6:01 p.m., while standing on the balcony of the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, a single gunshot tore through the silence. The bullet struck him, and he fell. Chaos erupted. He was rushed to St. Joseph's Hospital, but pronounced dead at 7:05 p.m. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was just 39 years old. News of his death spread globally, igniting riots in over 100 American cities. Fires burned, sirens wailed, and people screamed in grief and anger. Millions sat in stunned silence, feeling as if the sun had gone dark. But in the midst of the pain, something powerful happened. The dream did not die. Just 1 week later, on April 11, 1968, President Lyndon B. Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act of 1968, also known as the Fair Housing Act, a cause King had championed. His death galvanized the nation to act. On April 9, 1968, King's funeral brought thousands together, leaders and ordinary people, all walking behind a simple wooden wagon pulled by 2 mules, just as he would have wanted. His favorite song, "Precious Lord, Take My Hand," played as many whispered his iconic words, "Free at last. Free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last." King had planted seeds of change in millions of hearts. His wife, Coretta Scott King, continued his work, establishing the King Center to preserve his vision. Their children also carried his message forward. For years, the fight for a national holiday in his name continued, culminating in President Ronald Reagan signing the bill in 1983, establishing Martin Luther King Jr. Day, celebrated every 3rd Monday of January since 1986. Today, over 900 streets, thousands of schools, and a monumental memorial in Washington, D.C. bear his name. Before King, Black Americans faced systemic discrimination and fear. Because of his work, voting rights were secured and segregation was outlawed. His ideas transcended borders, inspiring nonviolent movements worldwide. More than 50 years after his death, his voice still resonates. Every act of peace, every stand for the weak, every uttered dream keeps his spirit alive. King was more than a leader. He was a mirror, showing us what we could become if we chose love over hate. He believed in judging people by character, not skin color. He didn't carry a sword. He carried hope, the most powerful weapon of all. He was also a prolific writer, penning books like Why We Can't Wait and Stride Toward Freedom, which continue to teach us how to fight hate with peace and dream big. Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? King once asked. This question remains for us. Let us not just remember Dr. King, but become what he believed in. Be kind, be brave, speak peace, and always keep dreaming. He lived a great life, not with money or an army, but with a voice full of truth, a heart full of love, and a dream big enough to change the world. You don't need to be perfect or shout in anger to make a difference. You just need courage, kindness, and belief. Lessons from his life are simple and powerful. 1. Stand up even if you're alone. 2. Fight with peace, not hate. 3. Keep going even when it's hard. 4. Dream big, bigger than yourself. 5. Leave the world better than you found it. If Dr. King could speak to you today, he would say, "You matter. You are powerful. You have a voice. You can dream. You can rise. You can help others. Don't wait. Don't doubt. Don't be afraid. The world needs your voice. The world needs your heart. Be the reason someone believes in peace, in love, and in hope." He famously said, "If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward." King's story is not just history, it's a mirror asking you, what kind of person will you be? Will you speak up or stay quiet? Will you love or will you hate? The dream is now in your hands. So dream big, live bravely, love deeply, and be the change just like Martin Luther King Jr. Let your story be one of hope, kindness, and courage of a person who chose love and helped change the world. This is the end of his story, but the beginning of yours, of ours. Every time we choose justice, we continue his dream. He may have left this world at 39, but in truth, Dr. King never died. He became a voice that echoes forever in the hearts of those who dare to dream.